This is our analysis of just the basic stacked half series. We feel like it's really powerful because it has just phenomenal tilts. It fits into our legs seamlessly and was just used extensively at the NC2As this year. We'll start with just basic, Gene Mills, who really invented this move, basic technique, but we'll really break down with particular emphasis how to really finish this move. Not a lot of people really know how to finish this move properly, so we'll go into a detailed breakdown of just how to finish a guy off with a stacked half.
Back to basics, on top. Hips are the steering wheel in wrestling. I do not care how big and strong somebody is. Most people see somebody walk out, and the opponents usually go, oh no. Who cares? If they're built like this, the steering wheel is small. It's very easy to control and score your points. So I want to control the hips. The hips are the steering wheel in wrestling. From the referee's position. What I'm going to do is my hand that's on the elbow is going to come inside the thigh. I jump to the opposite side, and I'm going to pull him back at 430. What I mean by that, I'm looking at his body like a clock. His head is 12, his butt is 6, 3, and 9. I want to circle that hip back at 430. If I try to take him in any other position and he's good and he's got a good solid base, I'm not going to be able to budge him. I've seen this happen 1,000 times. When guys get in referee's position, they say, ready, wrestle, and the guy on top will do this. Ready, wrestle. But I can't break him down, he's too strong. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Referee's position, hand inside the thigh, my elbow pulls the hip back and get all your weight on him. Right now, I am setting up my half Nelson. Underneath that armpit, nice and low on the neck. Smash the head underneath and get all your weight up on his head. Don't be behind the guy like you're trying to make puppies. Out to the side, up on your toes, and commit. Free hand, underneath the armpit, grab the one-on-one wrist. As I'm looking at him like the clock, if I take him at 9 o'clock, this is what's going to happen. This guy's going to end up on top. You're not going to like this move. If I take him at 10 o'clock, I'll put him on his back, and he's going to bridge. And then you might not get the pin. So, I want to drive him up at 11 o'clock. I get my hips low, drive towards his head, and circle around. Left elbow, nice and tight. Hold him in that stacked position. Crank the elbow into the hip to hold him in that stacked position so everybody can see he's pinned. Now, keys. Spiral ride the hips. Hips are the steering wheel. Circle out, commit yourself. If you're going to do the hack, smash that head, get all your weight on his head. Now, I know if you take physics, the teacher is going to say, come out to the elbow and put it on top of the head. Don't get under the armpit, nice and low on the neck. Because in physics, the fulcrum of the bullcrap of the whatever, who gives a crap? Underneath the armpit, low on the neck, the hips have power. So when I get out to the side and I put my half Nelson on, I'm going to use the power to drive him at 11 o'clock. Sayonara. Do it my way. Now, that is just to commit yourself with a half Nelson. There's a whole... I can show you 4 hours of half Nelsons. You want half Nelsons? Order a half Nelson video. But this is very, very important to control the hips off the whistle. Get all your weight on here. Smash the head. He wants to get back to referee's position. You want to help him. But all my weight is on his neck. Every ounce of my weight is on his neck. Now, if I can't get the wrist, here's another common thing. Guy's posting his hand out there, and I can't really get the wrist. All I do is I lift the head and drive towards it. That elbow folds, and now I have the wrist. I want to pull it back and elbow tight to the hip. When I get this and I start to drive, elbow, my elbow is going to be right to the hip, so as I drive, my elbow can hold him in that stacked position. All right? That way I don't put him on his back and have anybody in the stand say he wasn't pinned. This way everybody knows. I like the spiral also because it sets up a cradle, it sets up a suck back. So, I like spiraling to the opposite side because I'm more comfortable with half Nelson on my right arm, with my right arm. If you like to spiral and half Nelson with your left arm, spiral the hip to the left, take your right hand and smash the head under the armpit to get that half in there, and you can use your knees sometimes to help get that hip back up. And that's nice and tight. The other thing is, I never want to see a space in here. I want it nice and tight, so you can't even fit a finger in there if you want a nice, tight half Nelson.
Let's just go through just the very, very basic steps in real detail of how to get that pin. The first step, really, we call it executing a setup, which really could be anything. This spiral setup that Mills is doing is phenomenal, but it could be a side brake tilt one way, side brake tilt the other way. Could be a chop, could be having your legs in with a bar. The key is just some elaborate way of getting your half in deep.
Remember, securing the half the right way earns you a pin. Get your elbow deep in his armpit, stuff the head toward the half, karate chop his neck low on the neck, and then grab the neck cords to secure the pin.
The next step is absolutely the most important. You have to get 100% of your weight on his head, and we find this generally requires getting your hips down and making what we call a quarter turn. But you just simply have to have his head on the mat and your weight on his head. The next step is really to decide what to do with the far arm. You can get an inside wrist, chicken wing or bar arm, or really just reinforce your tight waist. From there, it's very important to secure your elbow tight to his hip. Last step is just, figuring out the parts of the finish. You should watch this clip. You can't watch it enough. You get your hips low, you circle out front, you drive towards his head, your right elbow tied to the hip, and you fall out front on your own elbow. So here we go, hips low, circle out front, drive on that elbow, hold him up with your own elbow. Hips low, start driving, elbow on the mat, fall in front of him and hold him up. This is Gene Mills pinning an Olympic champion, Bobby Weber, back in the day, 1981 EIWA finals. Mills was probably the best collegiate wrestler ever on top. And, you just see, he's pinning an Olympic champion here. I think he quits by submission. We found this one for kicks. It's Mills winning a state high school championship. Here he gives a thumbs up to his coach. That was quick, but he forgot to put that in the technique. Always give the thumbs up to the coach.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As time goes by, we're going to take you through some more complex setups and finishes to the half. Here we are with Troy Nickerson riding a stubby leg. He's working the half. He swaps the half out for a claw, switches to a Mike Sheets leg ride, controls the ankle briefly, and gets a chicken wing on the far side. He still has his legs in. He's going to come back to the half. Now to finish, you're going to see him take the legs out, make a big commitment out front, and he's going to finish exactly the way we talked. Drive him to 1 o'clock. He has far elbow to the hip, making that kickstand. There's the fall. Again, we hope you enjoyed it. This is the highest level, and this is where we're going.